You're listening to ADHD Support Talk. ADHD Support Talk is brought to you by ADDclasses.com. Visit www.addclasses.com and sign up for helpful online resources today. I want to welcome you back to ADHD Support Talk. I'm your co-host, Lynne Edris, and as a productivity coach, I help overwhelmed professionals reduce procrastination and get more done with less effort so that they have more time, energy, and money for the things they love most. You can learn more about me and the programs and services I offer at coachingadvantages.com. So I have with me today our founder, Miss Tara McGillicuddy. She is the founder of ADHD Support Talk, and we are the longest running ADHD podcast. And Tara and I are going to talk in a moment about something that's very timely. We're going to talk about end of year transitions. So welcome, Tara.
Hey, I'm glad to be back on the podcast. So my name is Tara McGillicuddy. I'm the creator and the founder of ADHD Support Talk Radio, also of ADDclasses.com. I've been involved in the online ADHD community for over 25 years now. I'm an ADHD coach, I'm with ADHD myself, and I help people shift their energy and lead happier and more productive lives. You can learn more about me and the services and products I offer by going to taramcgillicuddy.com.
Awesome. So we are going to talk about end of year transitions. And I think this is a really important topic for our listeners to look at and think about and apply to themselves. So where do you want to start, Tara?
Yeah, I thought this topic really made sense because as we're recording this episode, we're in that middle of time where we just ended Thanksgiving. We have a few weeks until Christmas, New Year's, and we're in this transition time, this lull for some people with some things, with other people we're in this craziness of the holidays. But before we know it, 2023 is going to be here. Absolutely. So when we always want to have success in the new year, and this is a time to really start thinking about, start putting the energy and your thoughts into 2023. So I think it's a good time because we're in that kind of lull type or that in between type of period. And before we know it, 2023 is going to be here. And it's really important to think about what we want in 2023. And we can start doing that now.
Absolutely. We can and we should. And guys, it doesn't have to be hard, right? What we're talking about is giving yourself some direction for the new year and helping you transition from the year that we're in now to the new year. And I think that's really important. I often say, you can decide to make changes at any time. You don't need to wait for a new year or it's not really about resolutions. It's really about setting your intentions for the new year, reflecting on the year we're in so that you can learn, what there is to learn from this year and make next year even better for yourself. So no matter when you're listening to this, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It really is about the transitions that we need to make changes.
Yeah. But I think, with the new year, one of the things you said was reflecting on this current year. And yes. There have been years, for some of us, this might be one of these years where we just want the year to be done and over with.
We've had quite a few of those years.
For the whole world was like that.
Right.
But it's really important to look back and reflect and sometimes analyze and look at, especially what went well for you in this past year. Right. And I used to do on my blog, this was, back before it got too high, like the end of the year, I'd have you choose your top, let's say 10 things in 2010, the top 20, the top 15 in 2015. And then the number got too high. It doesn't have to be, 22 things that went well in 2022. If you can do that, that's great. But just start maybe with what were your top 3, top 5 wins, successes. And that can be hard for a lot of us with ADHD, especially since we're in this overwhelm burnout time right now because it's in the holiday season and, crazy stuff happens in the world in our own lives. But if we can just stop, take a couple deep breaths and connect with what went well this year, what your wins were, what your successes. And if you only think of one, that's fine. I just gave not a random, like something to work on, whether it's, 1, 3, 5. but let's look at what went well. And you can make a list, you can just think about it, but really connect with it. I think that's really important, to focus on not just what you want to improve, what you didn't get to, but really what were your wins or successes, however you'd like to phrase that.
And I think it's really important for so very many reasons, right? Most of us with ADHD have a tendency to focus on what we're not doing well. We often say that we have a tendency to focus on the gap, like the gap between where we are now and where we want to be, but we don't focus on, the gap getting smaller. We don't focus on the progress we're making and closing the gap or anything else. That's just not something that most of us do well. And actually the focus on wins, as we call them, it's important, like on an everyday basis, but we need to do it on a bigger picture level and more intentionally on a more regular basis, especially at this time of year.
Yes.
So a win can be anything.
Yes.
A win doesn't need to be something. I always had a hard time when we were in coach training, when they would talk about wins and celebration and all of that, because that sounds like it's got to be something kind of newsworthy or, but anything that went well for you, anything you can give yourself credit for, anything that you did or made progress on, especially if it's something that is sort of yucky for you or harder for you, is really worth taking note of, right? And I always say the harder it is for you, especially if you don't think it should be hard for you or you think it's not hard for someone else, the harder it is for you or the yuckier it is for you, the more important it is that you give yourself credit for making progress and making effort on that thing.
Yeah. And a lot of times it is those boring, mundane types of tasks or projects, like clearing off your kitchen table, doing the dishes. Maybe you cleared out your coffee table. Cleared out your closet or off your coffee table. Maybe you brought the boxes that have been in your closet from Amazon for 3 years out to the dumpster. I mean, stuff like that. I mean, those are things that can be challenging for us because they are so boring and mundane. So think about, what did you complete? What did you get done? Successes, wins, however you want to phrase it. And I do recommend that you record it somewhere. I mean,
I do too.
Yeah. I mean, if you're just thinking about it to start with, it's fine, but write it down somewhere. If you're not someone that likes to write, speak into a voice recorder app.
It.
Yeah. Right. But record it, have it somewhere, and just start with that. And then on that same idea, gratitude. Like what, and it might be the same as your wins, it might not, but what is something or some things that you have been grateful for this past year? And it doesn't have to be 101 things on a gratitude list. If it's only one thing, that's fine. But what is something that you are grateful for in this past year? It can be anything. It's up to you. But getting in that gratitude mindset, that feeling and energy of gratitude, is very similar to, connecting the same way you do with your successes and your wins.
Absolutely.
It's good for the brain, and it helps you bring in more positive things in the coming year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when we're looking at wins and we're looking for things for which to be grateful, it's so important to realize that this is not an opportunity for you to beat yourself up.
Yes.
This is not an opportunity for you to make note of all the things you didn't accomplish or didn't move forward in the way that you wanted to. That's a really important shift that we have to make.
Yes.
If you are trying to look for wins, successes, things you can give yourself credit for, points for effort, whatever, and you find yourself shifting into that, but I didn't, or but I'm still, or that's a really important thing to notice and force yourself to shift. Yeah. This is not an opportunity for you to beat yourself up. This is not an opportunity for you to engage in more self-flagellation. You don't need that, and it's not going to help you move forward. So this is about shifting your mindset toward appreciation, gratitude. It's about shifting your energy and your focus toward what's going well and what you can appreciate about yourself, so that you can learn from that.
Yes.
Right. Yes. It's about growth, right? As soon as you shift into that, I should have, or I didn't, but I'm still whatever. That's the opposite of a growth mindset that
Yes.
you need to make the improvements you want to make for yourself.
And you might start doing it while you're doing these exercises, but to just
Yeah,
notice it.
absolutely.
And, if you're like, okay, this is what I did, but stop with the but and move on to the next thing on your list. Or just it's because it's easier said than done, especially
absolutely
when you're used to looking at the negative, what you still need to do, or I did this, but I still need to do that. It's programmed in our brains. So if you're doing it and you notice the but, just notice it and try to stop it or
shift it. Right.
Shift it.
Right.
But it's really important that for this type of exercise, for what we're talking about with this episode, is that you are mainly or only focusing on the wins, the successes, and then the things that you are grateful for. Because when you do these two things, it's going to help you transition and switch to what you would like to bring more of into your life in 2023, or, if you're listening to this
absolutely
time, whenever it is you're making the change.
Absolutely. I think that's really important, right? If your mind automatically goes to the but, that's okay, right? It's emotions, feelings are not, bad. It's not something that you should feel bad about. But noticing it consciously, paying attention to it and shifting it to something else is a really important exercise and a really important thing to practice. If you find yourself in that, but, I made progress on this, but I never did X, or I'm still, at this point on Y. If you catch yourself with the but, try shifting it to and. Right. So I always used to say, I'm saying sorry to my husband, although I'm pretty sure he doesn't listen to the podcast, but I'm apologized to my husband in advance, because when we were first married, I just had this total flashback and I'm cracking myself up. One of the arguments we used to get into in the early years of our marriage was he would do something to upset me, bother me, piss me off, whatever. And he'd say, I'm really sorry, but, blah, blah, blah. I had a rough day, or I'm in a bad mood, or I'm tired, or, whatever. And I used to always say, as soon as you say the word but, you've just erased everything you said before then. So it's true for ourselves too, right? If you're going to apologize to somebody and you say, I'm sorry, but it really does negate the apology.
It's like an energetic stinger. It's like a bee sting energetically.
Absolutely. So if you're doing that to yourself, right? I made progress on this project, but catch it and shift it. I made progress on this. I made progress on this project, and I still have some room to make more progress on this as well, is very different than I made progress on this project, but I still have room to grow on this other thing. It's complete shift in energy. And I think it's an important shift in perspective as well.
Yes. And then once we've done these two things, we can start looking at, what do we want? And want is an important word. What do we want to bring more of into our life in 2023?
Right.
And when you connect with your successes, when you connect with the gratitude, it's easier to do that. Okay, I have this success and I'd like to bring more of this into my life. I cleaned my kitchen 3 times this year. I'd like to have a clean kitchen every day. I'd like to have a clean kitchen more often, type of thing.
Right.
But what is it you want? And to think about your want or your need or your should is connecting with why it's important to you.
Absolutely.
Is an important part of that.
A very important part of that. And you said something, the want versus the should, I think is also very important, right? Because a want is something you can connect to your values and what really matters to you deep down. A should generally has more to do with other people's expectations and the things we think or we feel that we ought to be doing based on, what society wants or someone else wants. So that's a really important shift there as well. But thinking about, what do you want more of?
Yep.
What do you want more of and why? Why does that matter to you?
Yeah.
in the coming months, in the coming year, what is it that you want more of in your life? Then you can find ways to keep that in front of you. You can find ways to make sure you're checking in with yourself on a regular basis to make sure you're still headed in that direction.
Mhm.
I mean, it's something that does kind of guide you
Yeah.
when you take a little time to think about that in advance.
In this, I know we said this, we can use this any time of year, but since we're recording this, right at the beginning of the holiday season, after Thanksgiving, before Christmas, this is a good time to really to focus on these things. And from there, later on, when you decide what it is you want more of, then you can do the practical tools of setting goals,
Right.
strategies, and all that. But this is the time that while we're in this period, we can take these few deep breaths and we can work on these type of exercises to figure out or to think about what do we want to connect with and bring more of in our life in 2023. Because when we get into like 2023, or whenever, if you're listening to this in a different new year, we're bombarded with so many things of New Year's resolutions and goals,
Right.
and people trying to sell us fitness stuff and lose weight or make more money and stuff like that. So people are telling you what to do. They're in a sense programming you to think about certain things. Whereas right now, we're not in that energy and that craziness yet. We're in a different type of craziness right now because it's the holiday season.
Right.
But you can think on your own. You can connect with your own goals, your own values, your own reasons why it makes sense for you or what you want in the new year.
Absolutely. So that you're setting your direction for the new year, so that when the new year comes or when the coming months come, what you're doing that is lined up with what you want more of in your life.
Yes.
I think that's really important. Not what other people want for you, or what you think using my quotey fingers that you can't see, what you should want or be doing, but what you really want more of in your life. And looking back on, the recent months, the year that's coming to an end is a great opportunity to think about, what has gone well, what do I feel good about?
Yep.
Whether it's accomplishments, whether it's things that you've made progress on, whatever that is for you, so that you can make sure that you're focused on what you want more of and not so much what you want less of. I think that's really important.
Yes.
Anything else you want to share? Any last thoughts you want to leave?
I mean,
and then how people can find you, Tara.
I think one of the biggest things, in addition to what we just talked about, is breathing. Just stopping, just taking a few deep breaths before you get into these exercises, or if you're overwhelmed and stressed, just breathe. And as you said in the beginning, I'm Tara McGillicuddy. You can find out more about me and the services I offer by going to taramcgillicuddy.com.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. I'm glad we were able to do this again today. Please join us in the ADHD Support Talk community on Facebook, our Facebook group. If you have ideas for topics you'd like us to talk about, if you want to share your insights and how you transition into a new year or a new time, please join us there. Please let us know, what it is that you'd like us to share with you to help you get moving in the direction that you want to move, and to make sure that you're living well with your ADHD. As always, we appreciate your time and your attention. Again, I'm Lynne Edris, co-host of ADHD Support Talk, and we'll catch you next time. Take